Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of D2C Chronicles. Today we have with us Monika Shruti Gupta, who is currently working as an area sales manager at Tata Sky. Born in Varanasi, Monika Shruti Gupta specializes in the field of sales and marketing and is currently working as an area sales manager with Tata Sky at New Delhi and credits her success in sales to many events she planned in college. Let us hear what Monika has to say on the necessary skills one can build when it comes to the world of sales. Hi, Monika. Thank you so much for joining us today. How have you been doing during the lockdown and what new have you been doing?
Oh, hi. Hello, everybody. In fact, I have been doing really great. Lockdown was one period, I think, which brought productivity out of people, out of everybody out there. And so I also tried to grab some new opportunities here. I sort of started learning ventriloquism during this period, which is the art of speaking with the help of puppets and expressing through puppets. So that was one different thing I wanted to try. And then, of course, I came back on track of reading books and all, which I loved reading, and which had paused during my 1 year, during the past 1 year. These are few interesting things during the lockdown. And but yes, too much of lockdown had actually become a little monotonous for all of us, I believe. And that's when here I am back to Delhi in my role, and I'm visiting fields and markets as well, meeting my dealers and my partners, and carrying on with my work now. That's how my lockdown is.
So it's not a lockdown anymore, if we can say for that matter.
Absolutely, yeah. You can conclude that way.
I think things are getting back on track. People are going back to their offices, and I see things opening up. Even metros are now open.
Right. Yeah. And things have actually changed. I mean, things have actually changed as compared to April and May or March. When people were scared of Corona that point of time. Now, on track. People are there. Markets like Chandni Chowk and Chabri Bazaar are filled with filled with people. It's as dense as it used to be last year. So people are getting back on track. The fear is proportionately decreasing, and of course, for a salesperson like me, all I can think is of numbers. My sales are increasing. That's what I can think of.
That's amazing, and that's very good to hear. I'm sure it must be that way for your company as
Hopefully, yeah.
well. Now, before we begin with the entire segment, I would like you to introduce yourself to our viewers, Monika. I'm sure they would love to know a little more about you.
Okay, so as you've already mentioned, I was born in Varanasi, and so I have pursued my bachelor's in agricultural sciences from Banaras Hindu University, and thereafter there was a field I would call I wanted to do an MBA, and then here I was in IIM Kozhikode, pursuing my master's in business administration. I wouldn't make it as a cliche interview, but yeah, for me, if you talk about my hobbies, I would collate my hobbies into just one word, just one adjective, which is versatility. I love doing different things. Some point of time, I like traveling. I would just want to go out and travel. Some point of time, I would just want to sit alone and read a lot of stuff, uh, be it psychology, be it science, whatever suits me that point of time. And sometimes I want to learn new tricks or new, skills, as I just mentioned in the beginning. So that's how I am. I love doing different things. And just to sum up, and that's why I call myself Jack of all trades and Master of Business Administration.
That's very heartening to hear. I think this must have worked well for you during your MBA school itself.
Yes, so I remember during my MBA as well, the first year was more of doing a lot of things. I mean, being traveling. I mean, since I was studying in Kerala, being God's own country. That's a very beautiful place. So I explored traveling as well. I participated in a lot of case competitions, live projects. I did a lot of live projects there, and of course, studies, placements were all a part of it. So MBA, I think, uh, validated the point that yes, Monica, you must do a lot of things because MBA actually makes you do a lot of things right for the first trimester. That's how things are.
The way you speak of it goes to say that you did have the time of your life at your B school. I'm very cool.
Definitely, yeah. I did.
Okay, and now Monica, we know that you have been a part of Tata Sky for more than 1.5 years. How has your experience been working with the organization?
Tata Sky, I mean, it's my first organization to put up, and I have been absolutely satisfied so far. I mean, uh, I remember that day when I was getting placed, I wasn't sure of what am I going to do in my career. But Tata Sky left no stone unturned for a person like me to not being able to achieve or realize my dream in any matter. The first year for us was a management trainee period wherein we were introduced to all the functions of the organization, which and we were handed over diverse projects, which are very interesting to handle. I was also awarded with CEO of the Quarter Award at the very first year of my work with Tata Sky, which was like a wow moment for me in my life. And more than a wow moment, it was a motivation for me to put in more of my efforts to an organization which is doing so much for me, which is giving so much to me. So that was 1 year of mine. And after that, here I am finally into my final role of sales, and I've been already talking much about it. So this is how sales has been going for me as
That
an area
sounds
sales manager.
that sounds really amazing. Especially because it is your first job. I'm sure the first job experience, you never have that experience in any other job, especially when you joined right after your college.
Absolutely, yeah. So in the end, there's no complaint as such. I'm actually proud to say that I'm confident and I'm happy to be a part of this wonderful and prestigious organization.
Absolutely, that is very evident from the way you speak of it.
Yeah.
Now, Monica, we also know that you have a background in agricultural science, but then you went on to do your MBA, and now you are working in a full-time sales and marketing role. How did the change in the field come about?
If I put it very frankly out, this was during my third year of my graduation, wherein I was a part of Amathon. Amathon is an agri fest conducted by IIM Ahmedabad. So there were a lot of seniors of mine who invited us from BHU, like come visit the campus. You get to know what kind of you'll get a flavor of the competition there. So that was a time when I visited IIM Ahmedabad. So it was a 3 day event, and I was just so convinced, so moved by the air of the campus. It was that moment when I decided I cannot get into a research line in agriculture. I have to get here. I have to get into an MBA, MBA kind of an atmosphere. I want to get into this versatility because as I keep mentioning, MBA lets me do and explore a lot of things apart from just studies. So that was the turning moment for me. IIM Ahmedabad and Amathon was the turning moment for me. And of course, I have always loved interacting with people and trying to know what are they doing, why are they doing whatever they're doing, why are they pursuing what they're pursuing. I think that's what brings us to sales. We need to get to understand what our consumers and customers really want out of my product. So that's what has been linking me since my graduation days to the final job here.
It's amazing to see how passionate you sound when you talk of sales and marketing, and especially about your career trajectory. Now, but the two subdomains of sales and marketing are a little different from each other. Here, I would like you to talk about the links that connect the two domains and how different they are from each other.
I think the very common link between sales and marketing is a product, which goes to the consumer. What sales bring on field is not just selling a product, but also insights for a marketing team to understand how to actually bring out this product in front of the consumers on a broader level. Sales, I as a person, as a salesperson, might interact with people or my consumers or my dealers only in my territory level. But then there'll be a lot of people, a lot of salespeople like me who will bring in insights for the marketing team, which is sitting at the center to broadcast it, to find out common insights for my audience across the nation or across the world. So I think this is one point of similarity between both the fields. So I think this product links me and my marketing colleague there.
Okay, that sounds very good. And I think now our audience will have a good idea of how different or how interlinked the two fields are. Now, in this regard, what advice would you like to give to the B schoolers who are currently in their B schools and are looking forward to their placements and would like to pursue their career in sales and marketing?
So I think I'll bring it down mainly to final placements and not to the summer placements, because summer placements are just to give students a flavor of what the corporate world is if they're a fresher, or just to explore a different function or a field if they've already have got a work experience. So keeping aside summer placements, talking majorly focusing mainly on final placements, there are few key things that students must focus on. Number one is keep brushing on your you know basic knowledge or the classes that you have done. If you're a marketing enthusiast, please be aware of what are the important campaigns, or maybe what are the important things happening around in the marketing field. If you're a salesperson, understand what are the most basic matrices of salesperson maybe, and how can you manage a sales team. And this is one thing. Of course, knowledge is one thing which will help you sail through. But apart from that, also keep in touch with your seniors, because that's very important. Your seniors, your network, and your other colleagues will give you a flavor of what is happening outside your school, outside your B school, or outside your college, or outside your class. So that touch is very important, which will link your interview to what is already existing in the organization. And final thing is, I think pressure is what these school students are known for. This is not really required. Why? Because there is nothing of a concept called a dream company. Everything comes out when you join a company and then you make it your dream. Either you like it or you are in the mood of switching it. For example, me, I never thought of Tata Sky being my dream company. When I'm here, I am proud of being a part of the organization. So there's nothing of a concept called dream company, which B schools have been popularizing since so long, and since ages, I believe.
That's very rightly said, Monika, and I also believe that students out there should be open to the companies that come for placements. They should not have a particular field in mind when sitting in for placements, because you never know what's right for you and what you actually end up having in your placement.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, let's move on to another aspect. You are working as an area sales manager for more than a year and a half, and we have a pandemic in light. For the last 6 months, we have been there in the pandemic. How has your work role of an area sales manager changed during this time?
So I think now when I talk about my lockdown era, I wake up to emails. Wherein earlier I was waking up to market visits, now I wake up to my emails. Number two being, most of my visits have actually become digital now, which is a very different and unique thing. I sometimes ask my frontline managers, whenever they are on field, they get me on a video call so that I can interact with my dealers right there, which is one different thing which I practice sometimes. Otherwise, when I talk about market visit, which I'm doing recently, I do visit markets. What happens is the ease of market visits have actually lowered now. We have to carry masks on our face, which becomes more tiresome for us. So that way it has changed in the third point. Fourth point is, I think, con calls usually, usually there were con calls before this pandemic. Now there are video calls. I mean, video calls, or you can say Microsoft Teams calls. So you need to have a proper and a good internet connectivity for that matter. Earlier, just a network, proper network of any telecom company would work. Now you would need an internet connectivity. So these are few technical and physical activities which have changed on field.
I think this is what we are going to face in the coming days as well. Even though our offices have not yet opened, I'm sure that once they do, we are going to be in that situation as well. Now, Monika, you've also mentioned previously that you have participated in a lot of competitions because you are a jack of all trades. So, which competition in that regard will you always remember? Also, how did these competitions build you as a salesperson?
So I remember it was Nestle 4P Challenge competition. Why was it very different from my other case competition? Because during this time, out of three members of ours, one was in Forex. I mean, in campuses we have this Forex culture, right, where students go for one trimester to a different nation and study. So one of my team members was there in Finland maybe. And so we were coordinating between time zones, we were coordinating between ideas, we were coordinating between our classes and his classes. So this coordination point was very different, very unique in that. Case competitions, on the other hand, become very interesting. Why? Because every time they come up with a new challenge. And for that new challenge, you get into a lot of insights, you read into a lot of stuff in and out of the same organization or across. So that was one. That was the second point, which was very interesting for me. And the third thing was I've always considered myself as a person who can do things individually more efficiently. So when things come to comes to individuality, I'm more efficient. But then these case competitions made me realize that no, there is something called a group activity which can be equally efficient than you being an individual person, because you might lack something which your other group mate might be might be so experienced in to bring in that insight for your team. So this helped us sail through the event, and we were campus finalists for that matter. That was so. This way, my case competition this case competition particularly was very interesting. So, I think for a salesperson, two things are very important. One thing is logic. The second thing is numbers. So when you combine these two things, you will be absolutely capable of convincing someone. And that's what a salesperson is meant for. You should be able to convince someone for a product which the other person is or might not be interested in. And that's what this case competition also helped me, because I was pitching into a lot of ideas which my other team members were like, no, this won't work in this case competition or for this product. I was like, no, this will work because this these are the four reasons, and these are the numbers which are already there. Now please buy both of these and take up my idea. This is what will work. That's how has that helped me, hone my convincing capability.
So I think you always had that thing in you, that you had the sales instinct in you since the very beginning.
I could say that way, maybe because I have always been in favor of speaking something which makes sense and which is logical, because that's how products and things make out. If I try to say someone ki this is very nice, this is very good, please take it. This will also fall in your budget. This will fit your pocket. This will fit your family. People won't buy it. We need to tell them that this product has got this feature. You have this gap in your family. This will fill that gap of yours. Please, now you buy it. And this one single logic will convince the buyer to buy the product. That's what
Absolutely.
I've always felt.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree with that point. Especially when you talk about a product, when you have to sell it, there has to be a logic for selling that product. Otherwise, there are a lot of products where you see advertisements of a lot of products on television, but you don't really think that that's very essential for you to buy. So
Yeah,
that when that aspect comes into the picture, your sales shoots a lot, I think.
it does.
Okay, now as we draw this discussion to a close, Shruti, um, what final advice would you like to give to the budding marketers, to the budding sales students, or to the budding B-schoolers for that matter, in regard to their final placements? I'm sure you have already shared a few tips, but what closing tips would you like to share with them in regard to their final placements that they will be seeing in the coming few days?
I think what I want to say is being told by everybody around that this is just the beginning. This era might sound as very disheartening because of maybe economy or maybe the pandemic around, but this is just the beginning. There's a long way to go. I myself have also just begun. 1.5 years is nothing for me to be called something as an experienced salesperson or the marketer. This is just the beginning. A person who is into placements might get into a company which he likes, he might enjoy and then switch one day, or a person might get into a company which he doesn't like and might switch quite early. But then for every stage will bring a learning for that person in his life, and this learning will what subsequently will make that person call a very experienced and a seasoned person as maybe a consultant, a financial analyst, or maybe a marketer or salesperson. Just the end. And sales is everywhere. Whether you join a bank, a multinational bank, or whether you join a DTH company or FMCG company, sales is everywhere there. So don't get disheartened if you don't get into a specific industry, because every industry will give you the opportunity of learning or understanding what sales is. If at all a person is really is it if a person is a sales enthusiast. So that's what I would say.
That's really insightful, and that was an amazing advice on your part, Monica. Thank you for sharing that. Also, thank you so much for being with us for this session of D2C Chronicles. It has been a pleasure talking to you, knowing you and your story. We wish you the best for all your future endeavors, for the days that you have lined up ahead of you. Take care, stay safe, and stay home.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you.